Number 9 at number 25. This game will be noon Eastern time on ABC. Missouri and Texas A&M have two of the three easiest remaining schedules in the Southeastern Conference per ESPN analytics. So take that for what you want. The winner of this game is in pretty good shape to be a bit of a dark horse as they run through the rest of their schedule. You look at Missouri. I mean, Missouri really doesn't have a whole lot on the schedule. If they can somehow get through this one, okay, they can suffer a loss or two and still be in the playoff mix potentially, and they might need to be upset in that second loss if they can somehow get this one. Let's start with the questions that could determine the outcome. Number 1, who will win the line of scrimmage when Texas A&M is on offense? Texas A&M has the second best rushing offense in the SEC. They're over 230 yards a game, but on the other side, Missouri has the fourth best rushing defense in the SEC, giving up just 92 yards a game. So on paper, you would think that this is strength versus strength. You would also go a layer deeper and say, well, Missouri's not letting anyone just run into the end zone. They've allowed just one rushing touchdown this year. And then you dive just a little bit into the actual matchup. I'm wondering, has Mizzou been challenged? Has Mizzou faced a team that is going to commit to the run the way Texas A&M will likely commit to the run? We know Texas A&M's leading rusher, Le'Veon Moss, coming off a career high, went for $117 in his last game against Arkansas. He's actually third in the SEC with 471 rushing yards this year. But more impressive about Moss, when you watch him, how many of those yards come after first contact? Okay, because if you watch him, he's running through contact, he's running angry, and it's really tough to bring him down. So good against good, but in this particular case, I'm thinking the good for A&M might outweigh the good for Missouri. Question 2, can Marcel Reed, new quarterback for the Aggies, and we've kind of gone through this, probably not enough, but more in just a second, can he hit a big play or two to keep that defense honest? Now, Marcel Reed and Connor Wigman, two very different players. Connor Wigman's a really good player. Nothing about Marcel Reed and his skill set takes away from the quality that Connor Wigman's displayed in an Aggie uniform the last couple of years. They can be both and. Here's the thing I think about Wigman at the moment. Okay, my perception from a distance, I have not had Texas A&M, but I've watched every offensive snap except for a few against Bowling Green, which I didn't think they were super applicable because it felt like a go through the motions type of performance. So I think about situations and I think about fits. There are some great coaches that are not good fits. There are some great quarterbacks that are not good fits. For instance, had Tim Tebow gone and played in an offense that forced him to be a pro-style player and not use his legs at the college level, would that have been a good fit? I think to Brian Harsin. Brian Harsin, who was an amazing head coach at Boise State, won a ton of games, went to Auburn. He wasn't a good fit. Doesn't mean he wasn't a good coach. It just means he wasn't a good fit. So my question is Connor Wigman a good fit for what Texas A&M wants to be offensively? And so far, I don't know the answer to that. I think Marcel Reed, though, is a good fit because Marcel Reed's skill set resembles that of what Colin Klein has had success with in his time as an OC at Kansas State. Now, he started the last 3 games for the Aggies. They've won all 3. He's averaging over 10 yards per attempt. So he's hitting and manufacturing some big plays. He's actually 6th in the FBS in that category. And he threw 2 touchdowns in each of the first 3 games. Now, not completing a high percentage, but he has also yet to throw an interception. So he's not really putting the ball in harm's way, but he does have some misses. He's a young player, and he's 21% of his throws are off target. That's the second worst in the FBS. So he does have some big misses, but they are taking some chances downfield. And if he can hit a couple of those, it's going to soften things up for the run game even more. Question number 3. When will Missouri play action and big plays start coming with more regularity? Now, Brady Cook isn't exactly pushing the ball down the field right now. And when you think about what Mizzou was last year and how effective they became offensively, a lot of it was Cody Schrader off tackle, heavy play action. Well, this year, one of their 2 or 3 backs off tackle, heavy play action. But guess what? Play action hasn't been there. They haven't really tried it. They haven't committed to it. And Brady Cook, when he's thrown it, hasn't been quite as good. Just 9% of his passes travel 20 or more yards downfield. That is 114th in college football. So not throwing it downfield very often. His average depth of target is just 7.5 yards. That's in the mid-90s out of 134 in the FBS. Now, Luther Burden, the guy's amazing. We know just how good he is. If he goes over 156 on Saturday, he'll become the 12th player in Missouri history with 2,000 career receiving yards. He also has 19 touchdowns in his career. With one more, he'll be the 6th player in the history of Missouri football with 20-plus career receiving touchdowns. He's not alone. They got other weapons as well. But at some point, this play-action passing attack has to start hitting some of those downfield throws, or else this offense is going to be a little bit capped and a little limited. Finally, question number 4, who will win on third down? Now, both defenses pretty good getting off the field. A&M allows just 30%. That's a top 25 group. Missouri allows 24%, which is 7th. So pretty good on defense. Here's the glaring difference is on offense, where Missouri is converting nearly 55%. That's the 6th best third down conversion rate in the FBS, and A&M converts just 38.5%. That's 75th. So huge lean towards Missouri there. And the thing about Missouri, if they can get this one, they'll be favored in all but one game down the stretch. Kind of told you that earlier. They will be an underdog at Alabama on October 26th, but their current chances of making the playoff right now is 1-3. They're about 32%. Well, if they win this game, it's a 50% chance that they make the playoff. So a big one here for Mizzou and their playoff prospects. A couple trends in the game. A&M is 0-7-2 against the spread as a favorite against AP top 10 teams since 1978. Which, hang on a second. How does that make sense? Right? But the Aggies won 3 games outright, most recently in 2022 against number 10 Arkansas. I'm not sure how that reads, but it was in the notes. I don't know what that means. Missouri is an underdog on ESPN Bet, getting 2 points on the road despite being ranked number 9 in the AP poll. This is the 5th time a top 10 Tigers team is an underdog since 1978, splitting the previous 4 straight up and against the spread. Both losses and failures to cover came in games in which Missouri was the higher ranked team. Such will be the case on Saturday against Texas A&M. I'll take the Aggies. I'm not sold on Missouri's defensive improvements just yet. I think their numbers are a little bit of smoke and mirrors, and they're a little inflated because they've yet to face a team anywhere near as much talent as what Texas A&M will have on the field.